The police are turning over the report to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor will determine whether or not there's enough evidence to charge the officers involved in the case. The police have done their job in general, fulfilled their legal requirement. That's not to suggest that there are other kinds of disciplinary hearings that may take place inside the police department. But from a legal standpoint, pretty much the police department's done its job. The prosecutor is going to review the evidence. Perhaps there's more kind of documentation or evidence that was not in the report by the Baltimore Police Department that they need, and they're going to go and request that. There's also rumors of a federal investigation. The news media are looking into the case. There are many eyes looking in and reviewing this incident so that in the end we can have a appropriate and measured legal and political response to this tragedy. My perception is that all agencies are working in a judicious and timely fashion. They do not want to leave any stone unturned. They want to be as thorough as possible. They don't want this case to have ramifications from a legal standpoint in the future that will reflect negatively on the Baltimore Police Department, on the prosecutor's office. Everybody wants to do their job properly so that there will be no surprises. These sorts of things take time. It requires people who have expertise in these areas to review the documentation. And this is what we need in a situation like this. So the patience is required of the public. Patience is required also of observers, people who are both close to the case and people who are just learning about the case in the recent days over the past week. In a matter of weeks, we should have an appropriate response from the prosecutors, and it will be released to the public. There will be a considerable amount of both news media and public attention on the findings of the prosecutor. They do not want to make snap judgments and cause some sort of overreaction. And so I think this is the best procedure that we have right now, and they're working as diligently as they can to scrutinize the evidence, make sure that there aren't any gaps in the evidence. And this also takes time. It takes time to think about what may be missing, to gather statements from observers, witnesses, check any sort of forensic details that they think are necessary to make a decision that is thorough, comprehensive, and that will also stand up in court if there are any charges to be laid against the police officers involved. It's important for the public to realize that the decisions of that office have been done in a very measured manner, that they have reviewed a lot more evidence than the police have looked at, and that if they are unhappy with the findings of the report, that they should channel their discontent through appropriate political participation, pro-social political participation.